I wanna make this video about kind of fringe events that happen, and the reason I pay attention to these because I'm Iranian and I've been here for a very long time. I had to deal with many branches of U.S. government and kind of look at the stuff they do. Well, also this video is kind of for my son. He's half Iranian. His mother is white and American, and I always worry about him because he's kind of stupid and young, and I don't want him to get recruited to one of these misguided and conceited or criminal branches of U.S. government. Well, they have always some cash to or some payroll to pay people, and but many Iranians or half Iranians, they don't look at all the problems that the U.S. government causes and how unsafe and dangerous it is to work for them in any capacity, as a diplomat or as a spy or as an assassin or as someone on an aircraft carrier. These jobs or monies, they're never enough money if you might get killed or end up in foreign prison for 5 years or more, or that you're gonna live a long time under constant fear or worry. Well, I want to tell you some stories that I've been kind of seeing it. I read the foreign newspapers. I read Ettelat, which is the Iranian newspaper, and I read in Persian. And there was this incident I'm gonna tell you. There was this Marine, and he was half Iranian. I think his mother was Iranian. His mother is in America somewhere, and he had joined the Marines and had stationed him in Afghanistan. Anyhow, he had volunteered, or he got greedy and went on the mission. He snuck into the Iran from the eastern side, from Afghanistan border, and came in, and the Iranian government, the Iranian secret police, by the way, they call it Savama, if you have never heard of this term, which is the equivalent of CIA, and they are very sophisticated, and I would say they're better than Mossad or CIA. I will tell you some stories about them. Anyhow, they intercepted him, and they figured out what he was going to do. I think they knew that he was crossing the border, because spying just doesn't go one way. It's not like the United States has all these fancy servers and software and spies on other countries. The other countries have the same crap, even better, that they got from the Russians, and they spy on Americans. And also other countries, they have friendly relations with other countries. They are not assholes, and they don't go endlessly overthrow foreign governments and threaten everybody. So, for example, Iranian government has friends, real friends. Like, it's really friends with Chinese. It's really friends with Russia. It has friends in the Afghanistan government. It has friends in the Pakistani government. You follow the drift of my discussion, means that their friends in the intelligence services of Afghanistan, or their friends in the intelligence services of Pakistan or China, kind of tip them that, hey, this is going on, And this guy, anyhow, he listened to the bullshit that the U.S. Military was telling him, and he went on to this mission and he got intercepted. And then he he spent like several years in prison, which is it's called Evin Prison, and it's in Tehran. Is a difficult place to be in, but I hear the food is pretty good. So in that regard, there won't be much trouble there. But this scenario kind of repeated with this other guy. He was an FBI agent. Actually, I put his picture up in one of my tweets, and he had gone into the Quiche Island, which is like a business or a free trade zone. Like people can go in and do business with the Iranian businesses, stuff like that. So Savama caught up with him and arrested him. And this guy was the one that had spent more time than anybody else, like 5 years in prison, because they discovered more stuff on him. And I think he was going around and installing spyware, like in unpopulated places, or listening posts, and they nabbed him. Then, then I read in the Iranian newspaper Etalat that Savama in just 1 year had arrested 30,000 Wahhabis that had crossed the southern border and were coming up. They kind of wanted to make ISIS inside Iran, and they had arrested them, and they were saying that, hey, we arrested so many rockets, so many grenade launchers. So the spying doesn't just, doesn't go on, because when you watch American movies, they pretend that they're all this really intelligent and they know everything, and they're also full of shit, because foreign agencies, foreign spy agencies or cyber teams, they do much better job. And there was another incident that I was thought it was really interesting, that the IRGC claimed that they had hacked into U.S. drones and U.S. satellites. That's a pretty sophisticated kind of hacking, and they showed footage how they had taken control of one of their drones, and this is just one incident. But I think that the Iranians, like 20 years ago or 10 years ago, got a lot of electronic warfare technology from the Russians, and they captured many drones that the United States had. Well, that was just one, the latest one, and it was kind of brazen, because they were saying, hey, we can hack your satellites too. And you know how satellites control the drones or hardware. Then another incident that was important or interesting, showed the strengths of foreign intelligence services, was that they were thinking that the Korean cyber teams had infiltrated a U.S. Aircraft carrier navigation, and also forced a commercial shipping to collide with the carrier. I don't know what they were doing. They either had misdirected the carrier or the shipping vessel, and there was a lot of damage to the carrier. After that, I was following up on this thread, on these stories, and somebody had got from the U.S. military had gone in to investigate the carrier, and they discovered that the soldiers that were supposedly supposed to be guiding this carrier, which is a big ship that partied on the deck, and they had even urinated in the equipment or in the area, and at some point the carrier was just drifting or driving in the seas without any kind of guidance. I don't know if it was the cyber team that had done that, or just that their own stupidity or negligence. Well, these guys, they are not usually that bright. Well, in the movies, it looks like, oh, these are the ultimate, ultimate soldier. It's just a lot of shit. But when another thing that is interesting, when the ISIS had gone into Syria, and the Russian military was helping the Syrian government. Actually, Syrian government was also able to knock out the really important sites where the ISIS was very strong with barrel bombs, but the Russians were doing it even better with very advanced fighter planes, which are very difficult to catch up because they fly very high. They were bombing all these centers they had, and then in the aftermath, I saw that in some scenes the Syrian military or even Syrian police, just with a few cops or few individuals, they would come around the buildings, looking there, and kind of they weren't using tanks or anything. They just knock on the door and ask these guys, hey, it's better to go to jail than to get bombed by Sukhoi 35 or a barrel bomb, and they would just simply arrest them, which is like police work. And I think this scenario is going to repeat when the dollar collapses, and also because many of these old aircraft carriers or old technologies that the US has, they're ineffective, and I think that at some point there will be like, how here the police, they swarm houses and they grab the suspect, even though the suspect might be lightly armed, they don't care, and the suspects, they give up because they don't want to be holed up in there anymore. I think this might repeat with the US bases, because they are often located in inhospitable areas, like in the middle of Afghanistan, nowhere. The government does not want them. The people, they don't want them. The religious organizations, they don't want them. They don't have no connections to the local people, and they have very bad reputation because they have been using the base to attack other countries. And at some point, I think that the local sheriff or local cops, I don't know, they might just swarm them and grab them, and many would probably want to get the hell out of there. Or even jail might be better, because well, at least in jail you are not shot at. But this is a scenario that I think is very possible, and the end for this empire might be local sheriffs in different places. Or just like I told you in the incident, the government or somebody in the military of Afghanistan itself, or a Pashtun, they tipped other foreign governments, hey, this is going on, and it ended. It was a mission that ended. But I think that where I'm trying to go with this video is kind of make a little communication with the Iranians, or half Iranians, like my stupid son. Hey, don't sign up with these guys. They're retarded. They have very few friends in the world, and you are very much in danger. You could end up in prison, or if well, that would be a nice scenario, because in Iranian prison at least you're safe, and there is hope that at some point in the future there will be a prisoner exchange. Then you can get the fuck out for forever. But if you want to die lucky, and the United States got into another stupid war, then with the outdated technologies and all these enemies that you have all around you, you are the real cannon fodder. But that's another story. Uh, what many these new recruits they don't look at is that this thing, these wars, and all these belligerence with foreign nations has been going on for a very long time after World War II, and the Americans have a history and have a very foul reputation, and there are other spy agencies, other cyber teams, other local police that they may not be friendly, even going from country to country, like example I mentioned with Afghanistan and Iran, or Pakistan and Iran. And many of these countries, they work with each other. They have secret military cooperation pacts. For example, I know that many people miss this. They think that, hey, this cannot be, but it's really true. India and Iran, even though their political system might be a little different, they have a lot in common. Even Indian Hindus and Iranians, Muslims, they have a lot of cultural links, racial links. Their Urdu, the language the Hindus speak, it's like sister language to Farsi. In fact, when I listen to Urdu, I sometimes understand entire sentences. For example, when somebody speaks Spanish, when they listen to Portuguese, they kind of can understand what the Portuguese guy is saying, because they're very close. And also, secretly, India has a secret military cooperation pact with Iran. They do naval exercises. So if like a white war happen, you don't know who is friends with who, because you're a stupid American, half Iranian, and you signed up. You don't know where all this is going to go. The other thing that's very troubling, many Iranians who are in the United States, they don't get it. Well, there is actually a very funny expression in Persian, which means it goes like this. Uh, when somebody goes into another country, and in that country the people are very demented and stupid, the Iranians say, well, he started eating donkey skin too, and that's why he's so stupid too. پوست خر خورده دو، این هم مثل اونا شده. But it means that the Iranians, after a while they become acclimated to these idiots and the stuff that they do, and what they don't realize is that the Americans will use them and send them forward. They'll be the ones which, with their hide right on the crosshair of Iranian IRGC or secret police, with the beautiful Americans, usually white, sitting very safe and cozy at home. So what I'm saying is that don't sign up with these guys. You're gonna lose out big time. If there is any casualties, very much might be you. Then the many foreign governments, they know about United States. They know about alphabet soup intelligence agencies. They know about NGOs. NGOs are like supposedly welfare and charity organization, but then the government has infiltrated it. They come in and they kind of do a little soup kitchen, and then there comes in U.S. Secret agents that are they come in periodically through this agency. So when you sign up, or when a government sign up with one of these NGOs, supposedly charitable organization, then they actually are signing up with the CIA, because CIAs can come in through them, and they are very much controlled, often financed with these other idiots. Then what is very distressing and troublesome is also the level at which these alphabet soup agencies, intelligence agencies, have control of the U.S. Stock market and U.S. Financial institutions. Actually, in the Kaiser report, they were saying that they think that the U.S. dollar is backed by men with weapons. And if you don't respect or want to use their dollar, then there's somebody else from Langley Group to off you. Well, I don't know if you know what the word Langley Group means. They have, besides all these alphabet agencies, many different ones that do all this spying and intelligence gathering. They also have assassins. There are groups. I think there is two. There's another one similar to Langley Group, that they go and kill foreign politicians. I had a friend when I was working in Laguna Beach as a cabbie, and he was like a relative of the late Shah of Afghanistan. This is before their government was overthrown and the Soviets went there and made trouble. Then he was saying that in Afghanistan the Americans have gone in and they have made these prisons. This is actually a secret prison, and like they go gather intelligence in Afghanistan, in a foreign country, and they grab people and put them into this prison and torture them. So this story is a long story, was kind of warning to other Muslims. And while I know the evidence for spying in my own personal life, actually I don't brag about all this stuff, which is like family ties. My father told me that we are like distant relative to Muhammad Mossadegh, which was late premier, which is from Qajar dynasty. This was before the Pahlavi dynasty. And then my mother, she married, after my father passed away, she married the late ambassador to Saudi Arabia under Shah. Then my brother, well, I don't even want to go there, he kind of was related or did a lot of work with the Iranian government, and was also security for Prime Minister's office. Then my father, he was like childhood friend with the chief of staff, Iranian army, navy, and air force chief of staff. And then my sister, she married relatives of Ahmadinejad. Well, I never mentioned this stuff, but then I found out that the U.S. government, it does so much spying on everybody and everything, and actually they knew these things, and they come around and they kind of pressure people to say good things about us or kind of help us. Uh, I think that some of the media too, like U.S. filmmakers or Hollywood, they are they're really financed by U.S. government to publish all these trash, glorify U.S. Warfare. Well, there has been some recent films. I played in one of them, and I also played in another supposedly series. Usually, I play the victim, which, which in real life, you know, Americans are not good servicemen. They are not good military. Their style of fighting is is a lot more like ISIS. Is more very dependent on using air force, bombing the crap out of the enemy, and then lazily coming in with some infantry and also very sophisticated weapon. But in our world, these things don't work, and they are not like Iranian soldiers. Iranian soldiers, if you go to war with Iranian soldiers, with IRGC, they'll fight to death. There is no going back. There is no winning with the IRGC. There is no winning with the Russian military. There is no winning. There is no getting territory or anything with the Chinese military. This is a different military because the morale and the style of fighting is that once something is allocated to a group in a section of the military, they will just fight till everybody's dead or they are all dead. I mean, that's a style. But the Westerners that are not familiar with this style of military warfare, one of the stories I read in Iranian newspaper, it was saying that in the Iran-Iraq war, a lot of the weapons that were in the hands of the Iranian IRGC, well, they don't call them IRGC in Iran. They call them Sepah, which means just means troops. But kind of in the slang, it means like these particular troops. He was saying that many of our weapons we didn't buy them from foreign countries or didn't manufacture them here. They were actually the Iraqi weapons because Iraq went and got a lot of weapons from United States or Western countries, but their soldiers, they just worse. And once a team would attack an entire section of their military, they would just run away, and that's kind of sad. But for the Iranians who are signing up for would-be ISIS that they want to construct in Iran, I'm gonna tell you that their style of training and their style of warfare, you're gonna be on your own. You're gonna be the cannon fodder, or you're gonna be the target. But well, they might not listen, and they might want to be the target. It's okay. But he was saying that all these weapons, they really came from Iraqi side, and we just repackage or reuse them, and that's it. Well, in the Syria campaign, when the ISIS took all these weapons from Saudi Arabia and other countries to Syria, well, a lot of these weapons also fell in the hand of the Syrian government, which is really a lot of them are Shia. So the style of warfare with Shia is far different. I think that the Hezbollah, their training and the style of warfare is radically different, and I think that it's really what's going to happen is that Hezbollah, with some help from Syria and Hamas, they're gonna recapture the all of Israel, and it's gonna become like a part of Lebanon, or I don't know what deals they might make with Hamas. Then also I was watching some footage, war footage on Houthis, which are Shia, with the Saudis, and they are decimating them. You should watch out some of the videos I have on my Twitter page. Well, I have some concern because I am culturally and ethnically tied with the other Iranians to dissuade them to get them. I think that the Shahis, they know that there is no future, there is no political future for Shahis, but they just want to get, give the BS and get all that money from all these agencies, American, oh my God, we're gonna do this and that, and it could be a funding source, but the best method I've found out with dealing with all these agencies and all these spy companies that the United States has, and when they try to recruit me to be another cannon fodder is just to litigate them in regular courts. They are lawless agencies. They're getting all this cash from the government, and the American society and the courts, they don't believe in these things, or they don't do any kind of business like that. When you litigate them, when you bring them into the court system, it's like you shine a bright light on them. Well, I want to end this video on the British. When the British Empire was ending, one of the reasons that the Britain or the people were saying that, hey, we don't want these colonies, we don't want these attachments that we have in foreign countries, because they destroy our democracy. Because these agencies, these lawless intelligence gathering and manipulation of the stocks and markets, and these assassinations in foreign countries, these lawless agencies are not going to be limited in foreign operations, because they will learn these evil things and they'll bring it into our country and undermine our democracy. Well, the British were kind of smart. They kind of figured it out. Hey, this stuff is not good for us. But the Americans are much more stupid than the British. Well, I heard in the latest remark from Trump, he was kind of getting close to this idea that, hey, we need to pull back from these ventures. He was saying Iran is nothing but trouble. He's kind of sensitive. I don't know if his IQ is 77 or over 130. I'm kind of debating what this guy, his intelligence is. But I think he does have some instincts that, hey, why are we there and why are we engaged in so many operations and so many endeavors? And none of them relates to us, and they undermine our economy, undermine our democracy. Well, the Americans, they put the British to the task of harassing the Iranians, and and then now the British, they're gonna get their asses kicked. I don't know what will happen to the American aircraft carriers. I think something that might happen would be similar to just the IRGC would just send paratroopers or parachuters into the aircraft carrier and take possession of the aircraft carrier without killing all the stupid Americans. They are valuable as a trading. I'm thinking like commander. But another thing that's really funny with the Americans that I think the Iranians will have trouble with is that many Iranian troops are white. They're like they look wise. They look like white American, and then also many American women like they have affinity to Persians, to Iranian. So it's kind of when you want to blow their asses off. Well, I would separate the blondes and the women, and then let's do it afterwards. But I don't know what we will do with the blondes. Uh, they might come in handy somewhere. Well, thank you for putting up with me and my rant. Please subscribe and leave a comment. And I get so little feedback. Thank you very much.